just a second. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. The overwhelming smell is the first to hit you. Next is the sound. 25 to 40 wire mesh cages containing more than one dog line the walls of the Conshohocken, Pennsylvania pet store. Underneath of them are drip pans that are meant for easy cleanup. However, many of these dogs are still covered in their own excrement and urine. I believe that puppy mills are bad and that the amount of them needs to drop significantly, and it needs to drop soon. Today I'll talk to you about what puppy mills are, what is being done about them, and also why nothing is working. So, to begin, a puppy mill is a term used to describe a commercial dog breeding facility that profits from selling puppies on a large scale. Those operating puppy mills frequently prioritize profitability at the expense of their animals' well-being. This definition comes from an article called Solving the Problem of Puppy Mills, Why the Animal Welfare Movement's Bark is Stronger Than Its Bite by Kaylee A. Berger. According to 2010, an article called Something Stinks by Melissa Townsend, after World War II, a lot of farmers came back to the failing agriculture market, where the U.S. Department of Agriculture suggested that they sell puppies. Well, a lot of these farmers didn't have experience with not only dogs, but also how to breed them. So cleaning and sanitation was typically ignored. Also, they were fed low-quality dog food or just table scraps, and not all human food is meant for dogs, so that caused problems with them. Also, they saw veterinary care as a luxury and not as a necessity. So a lot of these dogs didn't see veterinarians at all, and some farmers couldn't afford them. Others just didn't see it as necessary. So at this point, farmers began seeing the dogs' profit and didn't really care about the well-being of them, which is, like I said in the definition, is what a puppy mill is. And this is also when a lot of the puppy mills in America began. Going back to Kaylee A. Berger's article, she stated that puppy mill dogs typically show aggression, poor socialization, and illness. I had a dog a long time ago. His name was Roscoe. He came from like a shelter, but we're pretty sure he came from a puppy mill. The thing is, a lot of people take a $20 dog because they'd rather pay $20 for a dog than $900 for a dog. But the thing is, with the $20 dogs, typically they came from puppy mills, and now they have all these mutations and problems that are with them, and then your veterinary bills just keep adding up, and now your $20 dog is now worth, you've paid $3,000 with them for veterinary care. We also had a dog named Butter, and Butter was a pit bull. And a lot of puppy mills, since they don't care about where their dogs go, a lot of puppy mills that have Rottweilers and pit bulls and dogs like that, they sell them to dog fights. So Butter was from a dog fight, and she was super nice to humans, but when it came to other animals, they were dead. And so we ended up having to put her down because she attacked our neighbor's dog. But that shows the poor socialization. A 2011 article titled Local Approach to a National Problem, Local Ordinances as Means of Curbing Puppy Milk Production and Pet Overpopulating says that the Humane Society of the United States estimates that in 2009, 1/3 of the 9,000 pet stores in America sold puppy mill-born puppies. Also, between 2 and 4 million puppies produced from puppy mills are sold each year. So between 2 and 4 million puppies from puppy mills are sold every single year. The article Something Stinks mentions that when asked, a lot of pet stores will say that their dogs are from breeders, which isn't technically wrong, but it makes people feel better. Also, they will say that they have AKC papers. AKC papers just means that they are American Kennel Certified, which means that the dog is purebred. And a lot of people take that as, oh, that means they were healthy bred, but just being purebred, that could be a brother and a sister from the same litter being bred together and making this dog, and it's purebred. So, now that you know what a puppy mill is, we can talk about what is being done about them. Kaylee A. Berger's article says that the Animal Welfare Act mandates the registration and inspection of certain commercial animal dealers who contract with other states. Melissa Townsend's 2010 article, Something Stinks, discusses Pennsylvania's dog law. Pennsylvania is the state that is known for the most puppy mills in the United States. So they have a dog law, which regulates the licensing and commercial breeders and allows for enforcement under the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture's Bureau of Dog Law Enforcement. So basically, I have to compare it to this, but like it's kind of like gun control. So like people that believe in gun control think that like not everybody should just be able to walk in and get a gun license and a gun. Basically, this law makes sure that not just everybody can go in and get a dog breeding license, even though it is still super easy to get one. So before Pennsylvania's dog law, in 2008, they had a situation where 2 Berks County commercial breeders shot and killed 80 of their dogs because, so inspectors went out, they had told them they needed to make these repairs and that they needed to have these veterinary checks. So instead of making those veterinary checks and getting those repairs done, they decided to shoot all 80 dogs. And before the dog law, this was totally legal. But now, after the dog law, it says that only a licensed veterinarian can euthanize a dog. So, knowing that there are policies in place and people to enforce them, the question is, why aren't they working? In Patricia Sachs' article, Misery for Sale, she says that the United States Department of Agriculture is charged with monitoring the way animals are bred and shipped around the country, but do not have the funds to do so. So obviously, if they don't have the money or the funds to make sure that the dogs are going where they need to be going, then they can get like a lot of the big puppy mills, but then there's a lot of the little ones that are just kind of slipping through the cracks. Also, in the article, too often state authorities are reluctant. It says too often state authorities are reluctant to aggressively regulate and police commercial breeders. Higher standards of care and stricter enforcement are viewed as infringements on farmers and others, including middlemen and shop owners. Also, there's no limit on how many violations like a person can get. So, say the inspectors go, they find 2 things that are wrong. The people make those 2 repairs. They come back the next time. Now there's 3 things that are wrong, and they just like they fix those 3 things, but now next time they come back, the first 2 are messed up. So like there's no limit on how many violations that a breeder can have. So you can just keep going for years and years, just getting all these violations, and as long as you fix them, then it's whatever. So with that, Walter Milroy, the MSPCA's chief of law enforcement, says that you must have an enforced mechanism that is fair and just, but the agencies also need to be able to take action in cases where there's repeat offenders. Also, they have where if you have so many violations, they can fine you, but a lot of people, they don't like to fine because a lot of these puppy mill owners are making thousands of dollars, and so giving them fines doesn't really make a dent into them, so it doesn't really matter. Also, they can use that as a reason that they're not taking care of the animals. They can say, oh, you fined me $10,000, I can't feed these dogs for 3 months. Like, that's how it goes. And then it's turned back onto the government. Like, they don't like that. Also, so when it comes to movies like the 101 Dalmatians, also Beverly Hills Chihuahua and stuff like that, they put these animals out here, and so then a lot of people all of a sudden want these animals. And so then everybody wants a Dalmatian, and only actual breeders aren't going to just like mass produce these dogs, but commercial puppy mill breeders will. They'll just start pumping out Dalmatians because that's what the public wants. So, after listening to my speech, there should be no doubt in anybody's head that puppy mills are a good place for puppies to grow up, nor should they be a place that you buy your dog from. We talked about what a puppy mill is, what is being done about them, and also we talked about why nothing is working. So next time you go buy a dog or any pet at that, you should be able to check, find out your history of your dog so that you're not helping out one of these puppy mills.